Alright, welcome back guys and girls, and let's do a discussion video about MMR. Seen a lot of thoughts and discussions about it and thought rather than me discuss it just in the podcast, which we will anyway, so let me have my say and then see what the rest of the guys and you guys think when we go live tomorrow. So let's get into the topic that is MMR. Right, so firstly I released a video yesterday showing my trapper playing in MMR. Let's not beat around the bush. I played rank 16 to 19 survivors. It was an easy game and I wasn't putting the video out there to be like, look at me, I'm great. The purpose was to show that the MMR worked. I played more and more after that game and the skill levels of the survivors did improve. People will look at my devotion and hours on PC and say, who are you? But I've got a lot of hours on console and I have that killer knowledge that I would say is going to help me regardless of which level I'm playing. So it's always going to be a mismatch of games, but the point is, on PC I have less than 1 hour on Trapper, if that. And the MMR system pitted me against survivors who probably had the same. For me that is job well done. Yes, I took no pleasure in that game, but to see a gradual improvement means the system is working. The devs need to remove a ranking system. I said that on the video yesterday because no matter how many times we say rank doesn't matter, if we can physically see the rank, which let's be honest doesn't define skill but defines the hours someone puts into a game, then our brains will always revert to the norm and say, look at this matchmaking and rank, I'm rank 15 and I'm playing against a level 1 survivor. I've been on record before saying that I didn't like the idea of the devs masking the ranking by reducing everyone to 20, but after this trials, I actually agree now. I think that's a good idea. Get rid of the ranking system, everyone goes down to 20, then you are not going to know the level that you are playing. I actually think MMR has been secretly active for a while, and you know that. I've put videos out there a few weeks back saying I think it's secretly active, but you know what? I have actually enjoyed playing DBD the last few weeks. I've played more, you'll have seen that I've got more gameplay videos up, and that's because I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Of course, I'm still having your tricky games with the whole GG easy killer and all that, and I'm also having some quite balanced games, but overall, I am enjoying playing. MMR will work if done correctly, and I've seen a Scott John video saying be afraid if it works because all you'll see is Spirit and Nurse. Naturally, Scott had a counter video by Rosie, and I'm going to link them both because they both make some very good points and I want to quickly go over some of these points. Firstly, let's look at the whole you will only see Nurse and Spirit comment. That's right, they are the only two viable killers. Now I would argue and say I would put Freddy in there too, but at extremely high level, yes, it is Spirit and Nurse are the only two killers that can play against high level survivors, or higher level of survivors. As in a podcast before, I agree with Rosie about the 50 win streaks because the matchmaking is currently broke. So yeah, what is impressive about the killer with 8,000-9,000 hours beating a survivor team? Yes, maybe the survivor teams are all red ranks, but they might have about 1,000 hours combined. Now I play survivor 2. I am currently rank 3. Does this mean I'm good? No, basically I know how to work the emblem system so I can pip up with ease even if I don't escape. I probably have less than 300 hours of survivors, so yeah, put me up against one of the big content creators, I'm gonna lose. I'll probably lose quite badly. I used an example, I'll use it again. Imagine you have 5 piano players in a room. They have a competition. Would you be very surprised if a piano player with 9,000 hours beat the player with only 300 hours? I like to use that example a lot, but it can be transferred to anything. If you have that many hours in the game, you should be winning. Now, I have been accused of discrediting some of the bigger content creators, and in all honesty, I'm not. I like them all. I watch their content, I love the game DBD, and some of the bigger content creators have inspired me to play, try different things to learn, new things that I might not have known, and to create a channel. My channel was made because I felt that although the big content creators have guides out, for example, some of them were very high level, and I started making guides to sort of fill that gap. I am not in competition with them, I don't feel intimidated by them. You know, at the end of the day, there's about 5 billion YouTube users in the world, every day or whatever it is. Whether my channel stays about DBD or not, all depends on whether I enjoy the game. So if you keep seeing DBD content, I'm enjoying it. Until the next game comes out that gives it some competition, then I probably will keep enjoying DBD games. Now I'm digressing a bit, but the whole point is I do not try to discredit the bigger content creators. However, I am not impressed with the win streaks and have to agree with Rosie that it just highlights bad matchmaking in the game, or previous bad matchmaking in the game. Now, the bigger content creators aren't at fault at this. because they can only play who they're up against. You know, it does make the stats look like the game is very killer-sided, and it's not giving a true reflection, but is that their fault? No. Is that Otz's fault that he goes on and gets 50 win streaks? No, it's not his fault. That's the matchmaking. When Dowsey goes and gets something ridiculous like 240 wins of the Twins, is that his fault? No, of course not. He's at a high skill level, and the matchmaking isn't putting him up with players of his same ability. Now, Scott talks about Dowsey, and I did see his video about the Twins, and yes, the queue time was shocking, and that needs addressing. But the fact that his MMR is high with the Twins, that when he finally got the game, he played a competitive team, I have to agree with Rosie. This is good. Why shouldn't he be playing a competitive team? He has thousands of hours in the game, and it was pretty much pushed down our throats when I used to say that the Twins are bad. People would come back and say, oh, but Dowsey got a ridiculous amount of wins with them, so the Twins are good. And it didn't highlight the issue that against the top teams, this killer can't hold their own. This again highlighted the bad matchmaking, so I can't now turn around and say, oh, MMR is bad, because it's going to highlight what I've said for the last few months, that I am not impressed with these streaks, that there is an issue with matchmaking and killers. Did I watch the streaks? Yes, only last night I was watching Otz's streaks on YouTube, and I actually watched the ones where he failed. Did I want Otz to fail? No, not at all, because, you know, he does what he does, he's very good at what he does, and I want to see him do well, but I wanted to see the ones that he failed because I wanted to see and hear what he said went wrong, and maybe identify with some of them, things that I might do in my own game, so I don't make the same mistakes. Job done, and watch someone who I've watched for years now and I respect in the community. Listen to the podcast, guys, and you'll hear what I say about killers. The game is survivor-sided, it's too RNG dependent, and there aren't many good killers to select in the killer roster. And I think Scott hammered that point home about Nurse and Spirit. Anyone who thinks otherwise, I'm unsure if they're playing the same game or they are falling into the matchmaking trap. Now, I generally try not to get tilted too much when I play this game. I'm quite a laid back person, but when I get my ass handed on a plate, sometimes I'll be like, okay, it happens. It happens rarely when I'm Freddy. Freddy I can hold my own with, but if I play any of the killers, then those games will be, and usually are different. Listen, I can go Ghostface or Legion and hold my own, but against the really good survivors, then no. The streaks will say otherwise, like if Otz gets 50 wins with Myers, does that make Myers a viable killer? No, he's terrible at high rank, and a good team will tear him a new one, and this is the issue the game has at the moment. I want MMR to work, and I want the devs to see that actually you have two viable killers, generally agreed in the community. I want them to see that actually the game is survivor-sided when skill levels are matched correctly. I really love the term Rosie used when he said the kill apocalypse. That's going to show when MMR comes in. True Talent talks about him playing high-level survivors all the side, and for me I'm like, yeah, that's who you should be playing, because you are one of the best killers in the community, so you should be getting these teams. Now, I do appreciate when he's streaming day in, day out, and it's tiring, surely it's frustrating, but he plays the game professionally. And when I say professionally, what I mean, he gets paid to play a DVD through Twitch and YouTube, etc. So a professional player should be playing teams that are cream of the crop. I am not interested in watching True Talent winning every game. The games that really appeal to me is when he puts on, he's playing the top percentage players, you know. And I'm sure I haven't looked lately, but I'm sure they have a higher view level than games where he just goes as standard and gets the kills. I want to see how he handles these teams so I can learn from him and see what I can do better when I play. I believe that Dead by Daylight is going to be a crossroads this year. There's a few more horror games coming out. Evil Dead looks like it could be a genuine challenger, but until then, let's hope MMR works. Let's hope that a kill apocalypse happens and that the devs see the true stats of the game and rectify it. Give us more viable killers, give us better powers, give us the true balanced killers that can give us a chance to at least get 2 kills. I'm not even wanting 4 kills in these tough games, but I want to play the game knowing that I had a chance of holding my own against them. Give us the final true balance in the game. Realise that RNG is a huge factor and that some of the changes to the perks were actually unnecessary. Now, I know I'm going to get comments, guys, going, killer main, crybaby, all this, that and the other. But like I said earlier, I play Survivor as well. And yes, you know, I don't mind going against the Nurses and Spirits, but it's going to be boring, like Scott said. You know, imagine if you're playing them every game. It's going to be too much. But in counter to what Scott said, I will say this, and I've said it before, How often do I play against the Twins? Very rarely. How often do I play against Blight? Not very often at all. So we are just going through the same amount of killers all the time anyway. It's just that at the level that I'm playing at, people will still load up as Pyramid Head. People will still load up as Freddy. People will still load up as Trapper. Things like that just to make the game a little bit more variety to themselves. The devs are all about the stats, and currently if they see a content creator getting 250 wins with the Twins, they're going to be like, job done. The rest of you all just need to get good, because it's a false narrative. Let's look at skill matchmaking and let's hope that the game takes the right path on this crossroad that I predict, and also Scott and Rosie predict. I mean, Scott is highlighting a very important issue, but the solution isn't to scrap MMR and pretend everything is good again. The solution is to enable MMR permanently and take a look at the true figures and the stats and then balance the game accordingly. For the record, I complain about RNG and other factors, but my main gripe is every chapter since Silent Hill has been extremely underwhelming in regards to the killer's powers, and I want a new killer that people will be like, Jesus, yeah, this killer is good, can hold their own and break the monopoly that is Nurse and Spirit. Maybe this is the route the devs go down, but I believe if they decide MMR doesn't work because everyone is playing Spirit and Nurse, then that will be the end of the game as we know it, and a great way to mask the issues. I love the game. I want the game to have the little tweaks that I believe will keep it going for longer and longer. Like I said, guys, I'm going to bring all of this up in the podcast tomorrow and we can discuss it further with the content creators. It's at 6 PM British Standard Time, so pop into the chat. Let's talk about this, and whether you agree or disagree, let's have a discussion like adults. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, drop a comment below if you have anything to say on the matter, and don't forget, if you haven't already done so, give a video a quick like if you agree, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and you'll be updated when I release any more new videos. Alright, thanks guys.